Okay, we're here at the 2018 Sheep Show with Butch Whiting from Kryptek. He's going to go over a few pieces on the Altitude line. They came out the Altitude line last year, right?
Correct.
It's one of the most innovative lines in the hunting market today. And I wore the Gar for the 2018 or 2017 season. If you know me, you follow me on Rokslide, I am definitely a puffy slut. And this became my favorite puffy. I bring it with me everywhere. Butch, can you talk about the Gar a little bit?
Well, what makes this jacket special, besides the fabric that you talked about, the hand on it, is that it's actually got different insulations strategically placed inside the jacket. So on the shoulders and on the sleeve areas, there's a synthetic and a goose down blend. And the reason why we put that there is so it's water resistant. You know, when your down jackets get wet, it sucks.
Right.
So we've provided some protection with regards to moisture there, and then the rest of the jacket itself is Primaloft Gold, and that's where we get back into it just being normal fill and normal down. So I don't know if you can see this on the video, but you know, you look at a black and white silhouette, you can get a better feel for how technical this jacket actually is. There's a lot of design and thought that has gone into this, very innovative with regards to other puffies that are on the market. And you can't tell that if you're just walking up and looking at it. It takes a little bit more of an education to the customer to actually truly understand the pieces as a whole. So this has been extremely well received. I know that you would prefer to have a hood.
I would prefer.
So there is some new stuff in the works where there's going to be some hooded variants that come out as well. So at the end of the day, if this had a hood, then it would be absolutely perfect in your mind, right?
It would be the perfect puffy that I wear all the time. On my scale, I have a large. It comes out at 0.2 ounces. And I did get caught one day in the rain, and I don't know what they put on it for DWR, but it works extremely well.
Yeah, we don't like to say water resistance or anything, but all of it is treated, and you can see the water start to beat up on this piece, and all the pieces as well. Our rain gear in this collection, I will put it up against anything on the planet in terms of breathability. It's off the charts. That's primarily because it's got a laminate called Sea Change, and the Sea Change laminate that's in this actually expands when it's hot, and so the vapor barrier increases, and when it's cool and you're stationary, you're glassing or whatever, it contracts and actually helps keep the heat in. So it's a very, very interesting laminate. Scholler fabric is the base of this entire collection. Scholler is very well known in the mountaineering and ski industry. Brands like Arc'teryx, Salomon, Black Diamond, those type of brands run Scholler fabric. And what it really comes down to is you have a beautiful blend of durability meets performance. Gotcha. And that's one of the things that, you know, it's hard to find that balance. But so we're the only brand in the hunting market that has a deal with Scholler out of Switzerland. So that was not an easy process to put in. It's been a very laborsome, project for sure. The fabric is also wet printed in Germany. So this was actually printed in Germany. And
what does wet printed mean, Butch?
So every hunting camouflage, actually all hunting camouflages are done with heat transfer paper. And so what they do is they take the fabric and the paper and they run it through a press and actually heat it up, and that paper transfers to the fabric, and that's how you decorate that fabric, right? Well, wet printing is done completely different. It's actually done with wet screens, and the inks are distributed into the fabric. This the same way that the military prints their camouflage, right?
Gotcha.
So Altitude is the only camouflage in the hunting market. The entire collection is wet printed.
Gotcha.
And that's the reason why you also have a very consistent end product, is because of how we print their fabrics. It's a very low sheen, and one of the major differences, if you got guys that are like, say you're doing a bear station in Idaho and you put a game camera up, right? And you go in to check your bait at night, and it's got an IR feature. If you look at that picture of you and your camouflage, you're gonna look completely white. It'll look like you're wearing snow camo, right? Well, if you were to do that same process but have it from a wet printed process, the reason why the military is keen on that, and the fabrics we do for the military, is that if you look at that through a set of night vision goggles, you're still going to be camouflaged in the night vision goggles.
Right.
So that's really important on the military side, right? Guys that are
Absolutely.
hunting don't care much, but that same process is how we've printed the Altitude line, the Altitude collection. So
people always bring up the fact that the hunting industry, the clothing side, is always behind on innovation. So what was the importance of bringing Scholler into that fold, into your product line?
So if you look at the Scholler brand and where they're at, they're the most innovative brand that I'm aware of in terms of fabrics. Now there's some other great fabrics that are out there, of course, but Scholler is off the charts in terms of what they're doing. They've got things that are just would blow your mind. And we're, going to integrate some of those things that make sense into the hunting market. So, some of the reinforcements for your seat and your knees and that type of things and stuff. There's a lot of different ideas that are out there that they take time to bring in. But the fact is that with our relationship with these guys, it opens up a whole lot of other opportunities that otherwise wouldn't exist.
So there's big things to come in the future?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We've got some really exciting stuff that's on the drawing board. We're, right now looking at 2020. Finishing up 2019, actually, as soon as the show season's over. We got a few more last-minute tweaks, but then the 2020 areas where, those new innovations will start to come to light. What we'd like to try to do is to bring that stuff in for hunting season prototypes, put them in the field test them, get a good feel, make sure they're good, then tweak them again, and then come back and before we bring them to market.
One of the biggest questions always brought up is the price. What would you say about the price to the guy looking to buy that product?
Well, it has to be an educated customer that really
Absolutely.
understands it. If you compare other Scholler products to this collection, you'll see that the prices are very similar. But these are things, mountaineering type pants that are, a couple $300, $400. I mean, at the end of the day, the guys that are dropping that type of coin on Arc'teryx,
right.
That there's no sticker shock there, but
Absolutely.
they're getting something that they really truly understand as well. So we have to educate the end users and the customers. It's kind of like when think about it from a rifle perspective. You can go out and get a $400, $500 rifle, but you can also go out and drop $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 on a rifle, and there's
right.
a difference. Both of them are rifles, right? But there's a reason why this one's more expensive. That's because
Absolutely.
it's going to shoot better and whatever else. The same analogy I would paint.
Yeah, that's all genres, optics, footwear, any of that.
Right, it is, for sure. So we're excited about the Altitude collection and line. It's done extremely well. There's been some great success with guys in the field. We have had very, very few issues at all when it comes to the warranty side. But at the end of the day, it is by far the most sophisticated and innovative collection that's currently available in the hunting world. That is camo. You can go get this same stuff, but you're going to get it from a brand that's anti-hunting.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to start taking that into consideration as well.
I bring that into all the conversations. Is where's your money going? Is it going
Right.
to support hunting, or is it going to support some
Right.
CEO's freaking golden parachute?
Right.
My other question is the Altitude line, is it going to I love the Altitude camo. I think it's the best camo on the market. It's not only effective, it's just sexy looking. And the other thing is it going to expand into your other stuff, or is it just strictly going to stay in the Altitude line?
It gets discussed, and we do get a lot of requests for this camouflage. We're really, really selective with it on how it's used. Right now, there's only 2 other hard lines that have a real license. That's Weatherby. They have a new Mark V that's coming out this year in Altitude, and the other one's Bowtech Archery.
Gotcha.
And so like their new Range 6 and Range 7s have them. So I've gotten a lot of requests for other things, but we've actually said no to them. We're protective of it. But to your point, bringing this camo paint job to the rest of the collection and to the other features, that is something that gets asked all the time.
Right.
And but we also have challenges with that, right? So these fabrics that are, exceptional, and they're common as well. I'd have to have them printed in Germany because right now my screens are in Germany. So I've got my own self-constraint on how we can grow. We are looking at opening up screens in the United States to do Altitude on military grade fabrics, because believe it or not, there's some interest from some units and organizations that are running this collection right now, but they want some other things.
Oh, I believe that.
We need to be able to print, 600D, 500D, get into the packs, start talking about packs and that type of thing. There's a lot of discussions around altitude in the backpacks and so on and so forth. So that's what's driving a lot of that, improvements with bringing it into the U.S. to print.
I appreciate it. And this is my own selfish question, but the DWR that's on the Bora, what is that on all the line? Because that is a phenomenal DWR. Whatever's on that is magic.
It is magic, and we actually say that this is water resistant,
Yeah.
but dude,
It can take a beating.
it takes a beating. The real difference is that on the Bora versus the rain gear is the seam taping is that there, so we say water resistant, but
Right.
that same DWR treatment is on in the collection.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time.
Hey man, I appreciate Rokslide.
Thanks a lot,
Appreciate
Butch.
your fans. Thank you.
Thanks.